Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the November update. We do this every other month to the best 7-star champions to rank. If you're looking for the best 6 stars to rank, I just did that a few days ago. Make sure you check that out. I'll even link that in the description. Now, remember also, every single month for like over 4 years now, I've been doing the best champions in the game with that phenomenal spreadsheet by myself, the MCoC Illuminati, and then of course the spreadsheet wizards. It's completely configurable. That is also in the description. So, if you're like, dude, I don't want to watch the video, which I wish you'd just leave it up, thumb it up, maybe subscribe, make a little comment saying thanks or something like that. You just go open up that spreadsheet. The idea is to be helpful, give you that knowledge. The champions that are in the higher tiers, the better ones. Make sure you enjoy them, you like playing them, you know how to play them because you're going to do better with them. So what we're doing in today's video though is I want to comment on either why I think a champion, and I'm just going to pick 1 or 2 from each class so this video isn't 8 hours long, maybe give you an idea of like, hey, I had not thought of this, or maybe why they are on so highly up, or the advice could be different given on like where you are in the game, what modes you enjoy, and that sort of thing. Although the spreadsheet covers that too. Make sure you make your own copy, and then you can see, hey, I don't enjoy Battlegrounds. I'm going to remove that ranking. It's really phenomenal what the Adams did. Thank you, Adams. All right, we're going to start off here in the science class and then move our way through. Like I said, I'm going to pick out between 1 and 3 champions that I would look to rank up, maybe confirming what's already on the spreadsheet or something maybe you hadn't really thought of or seen. Okay, you're here, which means you're interested in more than the spreadsheet, which I think is great. You can always check in with that, though. You can even see my own rank 3. So what I've personally done with my own account. I know I've been doing a lot of videos on him. I get it, but there's a good reason. Even your players who think, still call him like mid-cage or whatever. Some people playing the game don't even realize he's been buffed. He is absolutely phenomenal, okay? One of the things I really just need to point out, and please go to the playlist on my channel, check this guy out. I think you're gonna be really surprised if you're not aware of all the things he can do, but he is actually handling ability power rate for you with those exhaustions. It's in his kit. I know when we just hear exhaustion, that's not something we think of. And then the other really big thing for me is this special 2 with that concussion. The fact that it can be doubled up against Mystics, getting you to 150% concussion, ability accuracy, just turn off. And remember, this is just ability accuracy. This isn't defensive ability accuracy. This is offensive ability accuracy. This is just ability accuracy. And then even against non-Mystic champions, it is phenomenal. You don't get the double up, but as I've shown in multiple fights, it can last long enough if you land that heavy. We can go and get 2 of them up. And then, of course, he's got the Sunder, reducing that crit rate, which is in more and more defenders these days, makes them extra tanky. Now, if you're kind of like coming up, you're getting started in this is new for you, the 7 stars, I cannot recommend more Photon and Titania. You can see how Spider-Punk, I think Spider-Punk's amazing, but for me, he's a little bit of, you got to really love him. He's a little bit of a luxury rank up for, in my opinion. Titania, just absolutely phenomenal. You get yourself a buff immune champion in the current Gladiator circuit and Battlegrounds. It's just like emphasizing enough like how important that can be for a variety of nodes, not just defenders, but node sets. She's one of those champions. Bitter Steel really showed this to us early on. So did MP Blaze, both in the MCoC Illuminati. That she's a really rare science champion where like, yeah, she's better if her debuffs stick, don't get me wrong, but she doesn't really need them to stick. And then also keep in mind, there are ways to play her, and I've shown this as well too, where you can really utilize this suppression here, which is reducing the combat power rate, okay? You just keep that in mind. She's phenomenal. There's a reason why I still just think overall, across a variety of nodes and things like that, the best. And then, like I said, Photon is phenomenal. She's not producing as many eye-popping things as like Hulk. Don't get me wrong. I love my Hulk too. But the amount of utility that has been packed into this kit in a way that you can like actually utilize, it doesn't feel overly burdensome to utilize her, right? With like the anti-miss, some of her resistances, those sorts of things. She's a really fantastic, well-designed champion. I really do love her. Remember, here's the medium attacks can't miss. We're seeing that, like if you're talking about like Enchantress or things like that. And then when she goes into her electromagnetic form or pure light form, sorry, she just can't miss at all. And then, of course, I think I would be remiss if I didn't just at least shout out, of course, to Silk and then Spider-Ham. If you need a Power Sting champion, if you don't have one, Spider-Ham all the way, all the time. Have fun. If you're particularly interested in Battlegrounds, he's obviously someone that you want to put up there. So I said I wasn't going to name every champion, but I just, me, I like to get the information out, help you out. So let's go ahead and move on to the skill class. Skill is an interesting one. for me, especially as those 7 stars are concerned. I know not a lot of people have Mole Man because of the way that all worked out. I will tell you now that that event is over and we've had plenty of time, I don't use my Quicksilver nearly as much as I had hoped or wanted. I do have a high Battlegrounds focus, so that's probably part of it. If I could do it all over again, I would take Mole Man to rank 3. He's really a fantastic, fantastic champion. Mantis, particularly if you enjoy Battlegrounds, that sort of thing. I think as far as like breadth of utility and things that they're gonna help you do, Crossbones is fantastic. I know a lot of people, there's the idea that you have to have him awaken. I don't think you do. It is obviously very helpful. You can see I've been slowly working on the SIG of mine, getting that up as high as I can. At 76% chance, that's pretty good for my purposes in utilizing him. The ability to shut off the defensive ability accuracy, the way he works. People like Trap have shown you can even take like Mystic Champion sometimes if you're really good at keeping his Furies up, that sort of thing. I always say this, Falcon is insanely boring unless you like winning. If you like winning, you're probably going to have a lot of fun with him. You get that SIG going, you got that critical rating, just turn it off. Just a nice, simple mechanic. He's not flashy. I get it. He can be a little boring to play, but if you enjoy winning and you enjoy not dying, having a Falcon is just great. The other one I really wanted to mention, this is just kind of breadth of utility, helping you handle so many things. Check out Shield. I've done videos on Shield. So many good content creators have done videos on Shield. Your signature ability is great and very helpful if you cannot be bleeding the opponent. And then just don't sleep on her cleanse mechanic. That is definitely something that Kabam has introduced relatively lately in the big picture of things with this game. It keeps coming up, being very, very valuable as a way to handle debuffs, right? Like even like Jessica Jones and champions of that nature. And if I remember correctly, she's even capable of handling miss and unstoppable, right? Like she has the grit passive off her Grizzly's grit. So she is a fantastic champion. I showed you in the video that yes, you want to be punishing with your heavy if you can, but if you can't, don't worry about it. Her damage is more than fine. And then of course, if Battlegrounds is your thing, I really can't emphasize enough how good of a defender Atuma is. He's really a good offensive champion. I will eventually get that video out. And then Bullseye as well. And then moving on through like Shang-Chi, Black Cat, all these champions are very, very good. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Mutant class. Now, I'm going to be covering this in my top 10s that we do every June and December. We're doing something a little bit different. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Very excited for it. Those of you who pay a lot of attention to my channel, like the really, really smart viewers who like being informed, little self-serving joke there, are going to not be surprised by how highly ranked I have Weapon X, okay? I also remember, though, Battlegrounds is kind of the only game mode I take that seriously anymore. He is a phenomenal, amazing champion, great dual threat, and I just keep finding more and more uses. I'll actually probably get a video out before Cyber Weekend. Is he worth $1,000? Absolutely not. But if you're spending that, I want you to be able to see what you're getting. Dust is a fantastic champion. Like if I was just coming up in this game, if you have like a new account, I could not recommend more Onslaught just for what this guy handles. Okay. Just for his resistances, what he's handling as far as I believe it was miss, as far as so many of those threats from skill champions with their shrug ability. If you play him well, his damage gets actually bonkers. And then this is a little bit of I think going to be a surprise to a lot of you who aren't paying attention to this channel very regularly, is Dust. She's a great champion, really can help you against those skill or just any shrug champion. But then also she's got this triple immunity. She is a great champion. You do not need to run recoil with her. It is really nice. You do not need to do it. And then for your more mature accounts, I would highly recommend Mr. Sinister. I've done that. I took him to rank 3 very early on and awakened him. I've been putting my SIG stones into him. You know, I did the video on the SIG, is it needed? And it's one of those ones, guys, where like, in my opinion, I would be doing you a disservice to just say yes or no, because that's not how this one works. And it's going to depend very much on your play style and what it is you're doing, what modes are interesting to you, and honestly, how lucky do you feel? So it's you're gonna have to just learn it. I'm sorry. If you like Battlegrounds, I guess yes, but that's about it. Out of there, obviously Sunspot, tremendous damage, and then another bit of like kind of a luxury one. Or if you really enjoy Battlegrounds, you cannot go wrong with your Domino. I've shown her on attack, and we all know what she can do on defense. And then again, this is just in addition to, of course, what we've already got listed on the tier list. Danny Moonstar, I'm going to call that out because I really like Danny. I've done a lot of videos on Danny showing how she is. I do think she's more of a luxury rank up. Okay, I think she's a really good champion. If you have her and you like her, go for it. That slow is really nice, but there's just a lot to line up. There's a lot to line up, and Mutant's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I think as a result, on a relative basis, Danny is falling down without getting any weaker in the game. She's very strong, but without getting any weaker in the game. There's other Mutant champions that I think are really kind of taking over where you would have maybe used her. But, we just had the EOP Jabari Panther, and Danny was great for it. So there's a reason we have her highly ranked. All right, Cosmic is interesting for me because a lot of their dominant characters are in the 6-star, and they're going to be 6-star locked for a while. I would love it if we get Hulkling soon. I don't see it happening, okay? So as a result, Superior Iron Man, I have not been able to get out a video on him like I had hoped and wanted. It's just the way it's worked out. MSD has done quite a few. If you're not familiar with his game, Superior Iron Man is fantastic. Serpent, yes, big, mean jerk of a defender. I'm getting better at fighting him. There are more and more options. Actually pretty good offensively, especially if you don't mind taking a minute to get him going. Can handle some real problems for you. Remember, he's got that, I don't recall what the specific name is. I think it's like the True Focus buff or something like that, right? That's pretty unique, can be extremely helpful, and it answers a lot of problems and questions that nodes and defenders are being throwing at us. I know Adam Warlock was only available for money, so I apologize for everyone who hasn't been able to get him. He's a fantastic champion. I've shown that. Others have shown it. Gladiator, they took a really good idea from the designer and they put it all together. A really great champion. OIC has been showing that time and time again. I really do like Gladiator. Vox and Gamora. I mean, all of these champions. Venom. If you're just looking for the big highlights, and he's good. I don't mean that as a put down, but he's one of the most eye-popping characters in the Cosmic class. Hyperion's still good. Beta Ray's still good. So there's a lot of champions in here. Null, I can't believe I didn't even mention Null. Null can, remember, handles the auto block and evade for you. So there's a lot of very worthy rank up 7-star Cosmic champions. What I personally would do, even Maestro is good offensively if you just take a minute, is my advice for Cosmic specifically is, who do you enjoy? Who do you enjoy using? Who do you need? Do you need someone that can handle those armor ups for you right away? And if you have Gladiator at a relatively high sig, Adam Warlock doesn't need to be awakened. So if you have him, go for him. Superior Iron Man doesn't need to be awakened, right? So I would go down that line. If you battlegrounds are really important to you and you have an awakened Serpent, I'd go with him. This one is significantly more account specific, because the champions are so different. They have different utilities. And if you look at my tier list, you're going to see they're all kind of grouped up in the same tiers. They're really not that far apart. So they're a bit of an outlier as far as the best 7-stars to rank up. And, you can't see it because of the way this is, but check this out. You can see I mean what I'm saying. I only have one rank 3 Cosmic champion. It's not because they're not good. It's just I've got this many rank 2s. They're serving me incredibly well, and there hasn't been something that's just jumped off the page. I think I need to rank up. Full transparency, I probably would have ranked up Superior Iron Man if this current Gladiator Circuit Battlegrounds meta wasn't a Fate Seal removing all of his buffs. And I do intend to take Serpent once he's awakened, and definitely Maestro at some point to rank 3. Probably Venom, all of them, because they're all very, very good. But in the very near future, that's my thinking. So I mean literally what I'm saying. Okay, let's move on to the tech class. Okay, if Battlegrounds is your thing, all right? If Battlegrounds is your thing, I have 2 rank 3 tech champions. They are both phenomenal, phenomenal in Battlegrounds. I wanted to take up a Tony Stark. I love Tony Stark. I love MCU Tony Stark. There's a variety of them in the game now. I'm taking them all up to rank 3. I love playing them. And I took up Iron Man Infinity War because of this current Gladiator Circuit. I knew it was coming. I don't think he's got me a loss yet. Okay. He's not necessarily killing everybody, but he's taking the time. He is a great defender, great design from years ago, and he's back. He is back. The other one I really want to call out, and I've called him like a phenomenal dual threat champion. I think he's one of the best dual threat champions in the game. I used Red Skull, even in the metas where like there was one where I just couldn't, I don't remember what it was. But the guy is always in my deck, almost always. I don't know if I have him right now, so catch on the always. But even in metas where it doesn't seem like it's going to work out for him, like, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I went to his SP3. He's more flexible than you realize. Yes, to reach his like highs, and I've shown that over and over. Like you can see, I even have my 6-star Hulkbuster relic. It's great for him. It is great for him. He's a good defender. People need to have counters. I've shown people how to take him with America Chavez. He's got all those buffs. And yeah, there's going to continue to be cosmic attackers that can handle him, but that kind of shows you how good he is. You can draft him, use him offensively, you can defensively. I used him for EOP Jabari, just literally last night. I used him. He was great. He was fantastic. He was phenomenal. Now, moving on from there, a lot of people comment that Shuri, not a lot of people, of the comments that disagree with my tier list, a lot of them are about Shuri. We still have her incredibly highly rated. Don't forget what Necropolis did and what Shuri showed us she could do. Remember her ability accuracy stuff? She's really phenomenal. The non-contact hits, she's got the shock, she's got the guaranteed crits too. Like, she is a fantastic champion. She's just not fast for the most part. And because Battlegrounds is, I know, my favorite mode of the game, it's one of the most often streamed modes of the game. I think as a result, people don't realize how good Shuri is across a variety of modes in this game. And even in Battlegrounds, people use her pretty regularly. Ironheart, someone who's been coming along lately. If you're coming up in the game, I think Warlock, for all of his immunities, the various power controls that he has. A Mega Sentinel, I said that I probably would have taken Mole Man to rank 3. I would have probably flipped a coin between Mole Man and a Mega Sentinel. Hulkbuster, I've been able to play him more. I've been on him for forever. I think he's a great champion. I think you really need to want to play him, though, okay? He's one that, like, I don't think he's objectively as good or as usable in a variety of spaces as these other champions I have said. However, the ceiling on him is insanely high. I've been using him myself in my State of the Game recently. I showed him taking out Onslaught. He was great for it. I believe it was a rank 3 Onslaught, and I was using my rank 2 Hulkbuster. I think, you'll have to watch that to check, to be honest. Punisher 29, if you have him awaken, I would have him at rank 3 for sure. Prowler is great. If you can understand how to use him so you don't need to be thinking about it during a fight, because he does have some complex utility. He has some complex abilities that work together very, very well, but you need to not be thinking about it as you're going through the fight. You need that down. Guardian, if you got him at high sig. And then, of course, Shocker is still fantastic. And then my boy, Iron Man. I think if Battlegrounds isn't like your be-all, end-all, be-all, I think you could do a lot with Iron Man. I think you ideally want him awakened. It does play into his damage source. It's actually cool the way the designer did it. It's not tricky. Tricky's not the right word, but it's not obvious how the signature ability is actually going to play into his damage. It has to do with, I think, with the potency of his armor ups. I will be looking to take mine. You can see I've even put some 6 zones into him. I really do like him. Part of it, yes, is my love of Tony Stark, but I will be taking mine to rank 3 very, very soon. So yeah, that's kind of where I land in the tech class. There's a lot of very good, very worthy rank 3, rank 2, obviously champions. I'm excited to take a bunch of them up soon. Probably starting off with Iron Man. I do love Guardian, but I feel like I have other champs who do similar things for me. Definitely Hulkbuster. And if I can wrap my head around Prowler or get him awakened soon, or if I can awaken Punisher 29, they would be my next ones. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the, I believe it's the final class in Mystic. All right, people who've watched my channel for a while are not going to be surprised. Literally all of them. Like I've said for years, they're my favorite class in the game. And I would imagine they're probably some of the hardest champions to, I used to say make, and now I think probably balance. And the reason is because the Mystic class, it's some of its inherent characteristics deal with power. Power is like the only thing that is involved in every single fight, whether it's power gain or the absence of power, the throwing of specials. It is involved in every single fight, every single mode, every single node, every single defender. And so as a result, I think it's so hard to make them not too relevant, not too powerful. I've been saying for years, America Chavez, like as soon as that buff went live, I mean this, y'all, like I still think she is the most relevant, most valuable 7-star Mystic champion in the game. And I don't think it's that close. I really don't. I've talked to you at length. I've done so many videos on her. I got very lucky. That's an America Chavez doll action figure. It's a doll. Back behind me. She's great. I love her. And then they made her phenomenal in this game. Werewolf by Night. I think he's a bit of a, not necessarily a luxury, but I think he's more of a mature account rank up. I think if you love Sasquatch, or if you love Battleground Sasquatch, I got to be part of the process for Kushala, so you know she's good, but in all seriousness, she's a DLL champion, and he made a phenomenal champion. Can be used as a serpent counter. She has dual immunities, great in Battlegrounds, great in war, great in questing. Used her to beat up the Jabari Panther. I've got mine awakened now. Does she need to be awakened? No. Is she better awakened? Yes. She's great. If you're an incredibly high skilled player and you like kind of playing like underrated champions things, take up your Mortal, get those Furies going, get used to the Intercept, and you can pull off some really, really cool stuff. Kindred's actually really fun to play, not overly fast, but a very good Battlegrounds defender, especially at the SIG going. Enchantress, I think, was built incapable of throwing her heavies unless she's 5-hit comboed into you. I think a maximum of 4 times. So if that's all a joke. If you're interested in a defender, or if you're interested in that long form play, Campa's been showing it, Grass has been showing it. Xander's loves her too. So a lot of really smart players enjoy playing her. Wong, especially if you have Necropolis still to do. If you have Necropolis still to do, and you've got a Wong, an awakened Wong, go have a blast with your Wong in Necropolis. I enjoyed it so much. It really feels like he finally got the place to go. It's like having a Porsche and having only dirt roads to drive on, and then all of a sudden you get to go on a racetrack. That's what Wong felt like to me. Wiccan, if you really need someone with neutralize, he's a good champion. He's a well-made champion. He's very worthy of being in the game. But in this class, I think he has trouble standing out. White Tiger is amazing. She is amazing. She's a champion that I think is a perfect example of being put together so well. She is more than the sum of her parts. I will be taking her to rank 3 very soon and hopefully getting out a showcase on her incredibly soon. I do believe I did the spicy meter video on her. I just pulled Chathra. Incredibly excited to pull her. I think she's more of a mature account rank up than your like initial get going, right? I think America Chavez, if you don't have a rank up and you have her, do it. But I think if you're just starting out, your account's kind of newer to the 7-star realm, and you pull a Chavez, congratulations, ranker. Do not look back. Okay, put the Iron Fist relic on her. It's the best one for her. Have a good time. Again, Diablo. Diablo is a fantastic champion, not fast enough to be consistently a top attacker in Battlegrounds, but he is a great champion and incredibly rare to have poison damage in the Mystic class. If you run Recoil, I would very much look at Diablo. I love playing Diablo. You don't need to run Recoil, but it's nice with him and you can get away with it. And then, of course, how could we not mention Juggernaut, right? If you enjoy Battlegrounds, even if you don't, he's great in questing. I would want him awakened, though. It's part of why mine is still at rank 2. But this class, like, I could go on and talk about every single one of them at length. They have value. They're an incredibly relevant class. Incredibly relevant class. Mojo is too. Deathless Gilly. Like, they're just great. But again, and I want to make sure this gets heard because I know people skip around and things like that. If your account's just getting started and you pull the Chavez, rank your Chavez. She is so relevant and she is so good at what she does. And she's usable outside of her targets. After that, it's just a matter of, do you enjoy Battlegrounds more? Do you enjoy war more? Do you need the immunities? And that sort of thing. Because there are so many great options for ranking up that are going to see you a long way in MCoC. The best 7 stars to awaken. I enjoy doing this format, so just kind of talking over the tier list. We do that every single month on the tier list. As usual, though, let me know what you think we got right. Let me know what you think we got wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Keep an eye out for the best champions to awaken and all the rest of the helpful information we're going to be putting out on this channel over the next, well, we're going to do it more than the next 2 months, but you get my point. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.